and welcome to this edition of FYI. I'm Elaine Chang-Baxter, the Director of Partnerships for Montgomery County Public Schools. With us in the studio today is Dr. Karen Cruz. Dr. Cruz is the Supervisor for School Counseling Services. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Elaine.
And so we're talking about the ACES program. Can you tell us what that stands for and what it is?
Yes, the ACES program stands for Achieving Collegiate Excellence and Success, and it is a partnership between MCPS, Montgomery College, and the universities at Shady Grove. ACES is primarily at the MCPS level for 11th and 12th grade students. However, we do have a new pre-ACES 9-10 program because we really want to start students early. And at the 11th and 12th grade years, the students are given an actual ACES coach that is hired by Montgomery College. And basically, the ACES program is designed to ensure that students have the supports that they need to persist to a degree. So when we start at the MCPS level in 11th grade, the students are really working closely with the coaches on preparing for the SAT, learning more about careers and college access and financial aid. And then once they become 12th graders, those coaches are still working very closely with them around how do you actually start to apply for college and all of the complexity around, what that means for first determining what colleges you want to apply to, and then secondly, just the entire application process. They also work with students very closely around financial aid and starting to apply for scholarships and really finding that best fit for students. And so they work individually with students and they really give them that one-on-one attention that students need at the MCPS 11th and 12th grade level. And then once the students can choose to either continue the pathway at Montgomery College, or they may go directly to a four-year college. If they choose to continue the pathway at Montgomery College, they will again receive a MC coach that will work with them while they're at Montgomery College, helping them with academic success, tutoring, that one-on-one support again that they need to help them to get through MC. And then once those students complete Montgomery College, there's a transfer process that occurs where students, if they want to again continue the pathway, they can go to the universities at Shady Grove and actually apply to any of the 9 Maryland state institutions that are located there. And they have over 40 programs that are housed at the universities at Shady Grove.
So kind of to recap, there's a coach that starts supporting ACES students in 11th and 12th grade.
Correct.
Helping them through Montgomery College, and then coaching them yet again through universities at Shady Grove until they walk across that stage.
Absolutely, yes.
That's an amazing partnership.
Yes.
Now, what about for the 9th and 10th graders? You said something new was starting, so what does that look like for them? And then are they the ones that get to be the 11th and 12th graders?
Right, that's a great question. So the 9 and 10 program is basically, as we know, we want to start early, right? So we want to make sure that these students that may have barriers that would prevent them from being successful academically or even prevent them from being successful in going to college. We want to identify those students early and start providing them with supports. And so right now, our students that have been identified as pre-ACES are students that are involving themselves in career readiness programs, field trips to colleges and universities. Many of the students are, working very closely with their school counselors on just identifying what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do in my post-secondary pathway? And so they are working very closely with those students. We also, one thing that I didn't mention at the 11th and 12th grade level is that there is a career STEM component. And so now the universities at Shady Grove, they actually have created a component with the 11th and 12th grade students where they come to the schools and they work with the students around careers. So they have great partnerships with business community members and industry folks, and they're coming in and they're actually talking with students about their businesses and their industries and the careers and the vast careers that even exist right here in the state of Maryland. And so the 9-10 program, we're trying to do something a little similar to that with getting students exposed to the careers in this area, working closely with businesses and industry folks, having folks, we even worked closely with the Montgomery County Business Roundtable, and they were able to bring in guest speakers to meet with all of our 9th grade pre-ACES students about what types of careers exist in Maryland and what types of careers they may be interested in when they grow up.
So I understand that the ACES program is at half of our MCPS high schools,
Yes.
and I know that there's a capacity. There's about 60 at each school. So if I'm a parent or I'm a student, how does one express an interest? So I'm assuming staff might help to identify some students. Students might say, hey, look at me over here, and then parents also, and then you guys do a combination of efforts?
Yes, so if a parent wants more information about ACES, or they think their student might be a great candidate for ACES, they can talk with any staff member in that school. They can talk to the teacher. The school counselor has a wealth of information about ACES. Each of our 26 high schools, they have a college and career information coordinator. The CCICs work very closely with the ACES coaches, and so they can provide information. But in addition to that, ACES also has a parent orientation and a parent open house. And so that's typically advertised at all of the 14 high schools. So parents will know when those events take place, and they can come and learn more about ACES directly from the ACES staff at Montgomery College, USG, and MCPS.
Okay. And what does the ACES program look like during the high school day? Are the kids getting called out of class? Is it an after school? What does that look like?
So there's a combination of both. The ACES coaches meet and work. The ACES coaches are actually housed at each of the 14 schools.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they actually pull students to talk with them about how they're doing academically, working with the students around careers and finding careers that interest them. They also work with students and chaperone students to our college fairs and events. But there are a lot of programs, not only things that they do during the school day, but many programs that the ACES coaches are working with our students with after school hours, and also on Saturdays. And parents actually have parent workshops on Saturdays where they talk about all of the things that the ACES program and ACES coaches are doing throughout the day and throughout the year.
I see. Okay. And I understand that there's an ACES bridge that helps to identify gaps in education and then have the seamless pathway. So what does that look like to get your bachelor's degree?
Yeah, so the seamless pathway really involves those ACES coaches working at each of the 3 levels. There is an academic preparedness component in making sure that students are at the 11th and 12th grade level prepared to apply for college, and helping students with the SAT and the Academic Placer and those sorts of things. But they are also at Montgomery College heavily involved in many activities as a cohort where they are working closely with the students, basically providing them with a support group for themselves and with that coach where they can actually ensure that the students are being academically successful. And then that carries on through USG. So the whole idea is that these coaches are really neutralizing barriers that might exist for these students, because many of these students, their parents may have never experienced college, or their parents may have difficulty financing college. And so the coaches are there working with the students and parents pretty much individually to ensure that they are matching students with their needs and making sure that the students are receiving what they need to be academically successful and to persist to a degree. So the pathway that we have also provides scholarships. So it's providing that financial assistance, particularly at the MC and the USG phases of the pathway.
So the coaches help transition kind of the handoff to the next level?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing. What is the Summer Bridge program that you had mentioned earlier? I'm not sure if that's something that we want to share in this show.
Yes, so the Summer Bridge program is a transition from high school to college. So it allows students to learn more information about what is college life going to be like for them, right? What does this ACES program look like for them while they're at Montgomery College? They get a chance to see each other because each of the 14 high schools have, they have their ACES programs, but during the Summer Bridge, they all come together as one, and they're able to see, who are all the students in ACES and become their own kind of support group. The Summer Bridge program also talks with students about the academic preparation and academic supports that exist at the college level, and then who they can go to for various concerns that may come up or support that they need. So they receive all of that information during their Summer Bridge program.
So is that senior year, getting ready to go to college?
Yes.
Okay, so for that that audience.
Right.
Okay. We have time for one more question, and that would be, how can parents and students find out more about this fabulous program?
Well, parents and students can find out more about the program. One, they can go to our ACES website, and there's a wealth of information on the website.
Okay.
But also, they can also speak to their school counselor or the college and career information coordinator at their school or the ACES coach at the school. So any of those folks can give them lots of information about the ACES program.
Okay, I think the phones are going to ring off the hook. Thank you so much, Dr. Cruz, for being on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I'm Elaine Chang-Baxter, the Director of Partnerships. Join us next time on FYI.